Hey, did I wait long enough? I probably should just look into how long it takes for this thing to load up when you start screaming. But hey, how you doing? Hey everyone, what's going on? It's me, it's Jeff from Jefftown. I don't know. Welcome to another I Must Break You. Very excited. This is actually a box that I procured right when I announced I Must Break You, and I started to try to find really fun stuff from my childhood that I always wanted to open, never got to open, whatever. But I went out of my way and I've been sitting on this waiting for the right time to do it. And I figured now was as good a time as any. Now, the card, there's lots of good stuff. There's Prism cards. So this box contains between 0 and 3 Prism cards. Um, there is a better card than the Prism card inside here, and that is the Bart. What do they call it there? The Bart Shadow Bart. That's what it is. The Shadow Bart. So I'm gonna be looking for that. That is by Matt Groening. Matt Groening. Hey burrito, good to see you here. So there is a Shadow Bart in here. Now, this is a 48 count box, so I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to go through the whole box today or just the half the box. We're not fully sure, but these are comic images. So as you may know from the comic images that we have opened before, expect these to be poorly centered. And apparently just strewn about everywhere. Now, Shadowhawk, one of the premier Image Comics titles, in spite of the fact that it is Jim Valentino was not exactly what we would be having considered been sort of one of the premier artists of Marvel at the time. When you saw. They were like, we're getting Eric Larson and Todd McFarlane and Rob Liefeld and Jim Lee and Jim Valentino. Like, it was very like, he was doing what, Guardians of the Galaxy at the time. Like, he wasn't, I can tell these are going to be a real pain to open. Jim wasn't he wasn't the big, geez, maybe they're not. Maybe not the best, but you could, and he was, felt like he was a bit out of his element at some points. Now I want to show you, and I think I have some nearby, and I apologize for just pulling away, but I wanted to grab some comic images cards that we have seen before, and so here we'll use this one. It's Barry Windsor Smith Wolverine Weapon X. Sorry for the so this right here, right? So comic images, obviously they would pull it right back, and then you'd see the backs. And the backs always were the same stereotypical backs that comic images likes to do. And so if you look at that, and then you look here, you can see that comic images is not about to change for you. They're not they're not about to. But so yeah, Shadowhawk #1. This was Jim Valentino. Now again, Jim Valentino, very Silver Age kind of artist. I believe this was the cover to Shadowhawk #3 or 2 or 3, or is this the glow in the dark one? Shadowhawk 4. That's the Savage Dragon one. So Shadowhawk was basically, he had a Wolverine-ish kind of hawk helmet, and his whole thing was breaking people's spines and also having AIDS. Well, that's a cool looking one. He had batarangs. It's funny. I was actually talking to my good friend Randall Maynard today because he saw that I was doing these. You're going to have a lot of back breaking. It's going to be a lot of him breaking people of color's backs. Good job, Jim. Way to be on the crime zeitgeist. This, I believe, was the cover to Youngblood #2. I think that's the case. It's been a while. Shadow appeared in Rob Liefeld's Youngblood #2, entitled Prelude. Note, there will be approximately 12 people who could be Shadowhawk. If I do this right, there will be so many red herrings that people won't be sure who Shadowhawk is. Spoiler alert, it's just a guy with AIDS. That's what they did. They because it was 1992, AIDS was super hot, so they were like, this guy who's going to be breaking black people's spines is also going to see, he's bulletproof, just so you know. Here's Here's a lady. It's just a lady. The news. Jamie Antoinette. Um, you can see the silver ageness of that. It doesn't, when you look at sort of all the other stuff, your young bloods and your wildcatses and your savages, dragons, and everything like that. Ooh, he hit a guy. This is probably the lower of quality. The style isn't as stylized. You know, when you look at something like a Rob Liefeld, or even when we get into that second run, like a Dale Keown or a oh good, we got her again, or Sam Keith doing the Max, and you're just like, oh, Valentino's art was boring, and he tried to add an edge to it. Now, Jim Valentino, I need you to know, when I say that his art was boring, I'm not saying that he was a bad artist. Or is. I think he is. This was what, 3, where he was like a good guy that was just asking not to be killed, if I recall. Yep, that sounds about right. That reads right. Dre asking if Tom Hanks would be Shadowhawk. Could have been. There were a lot of red herrings, Dre. A lot of red herrings. But so it's not that it's bad. It's not bad. He's very good. It's just, it's uninteresting in that he's clearly trying to catch up and be a part of the zeitgeist. That was a very common thing among sort of older comic artists. I mean, Valentino was the oldest member of that Image crew by kind of a lot. We got a black guy. Better get hurt by Shadowhawk. Like, what is going on with these people? I don't know. This guy. Oh yeah, this was the guy that was running around burning places up for whatever, for the evil lady with the big boobs. Yeah, this one. Wow, I couldn't have called that better. So Dre asking if there are inserts. There are Prism cards, but more importantly, it looks like it was Weird Al, right? More importantly, we are looking for the matte graining Shadow Bart insert that can be found in this set. And that is actually a surprisingly valuable card. Shadowhawk. Again, this is a very unspectacular... I thought that was a Prism, but it's just lights. And good job on the effects. Finally taking it to the white guy. I see. It's just this guy. It's kind of funny. Arson. He even wrote down arson. So this is clearly concept art, I'm guessing. Yeah. Yeah, you want to Shadow Bart will definitely, Shadow Bart will definitely be one of the cards that I would send in for grading. High level versions of that card are few and far between. So let's try and get one. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of this. The one thing about Comic Images is they saved themselves money by just literally doing lifts of comic book art. They would just be like, "Well, just send us high-res files of your art, and we'll just do this." And so what that does is it saves you the trouble. Like for Impel, when they would do a Marvel series, they would literally pay artists to make original artwork for the series. That's why, like, Jim Lee Volume 1. Like, that's why nobody claims that a Comic Images set is their favorite set. Because all it is just clippings of comic books. It's comic panels. And they look good. Like, that looks good. And this might be the best, this pinup that Valentino did. This might be some of his best work here. But, again, just very uninspired. I know that I'm supposed to be like amping you guys up for this. Yeah, break that back. I know I'm supposed to be amping you up, be like, whoa, look at this. We got this fucking guy. We got the guy with the metal arms and the shoulder pads and the big boots from the 90s and a ponytail. Like, that's just Kane. That's just Kane from Marvel. But it's not. It's Blackjack, you see. So, like, this is cool. Okay, this is my favorite card so far of the group. Is just somebody holding a very weirdly high revolver aimed at a dude's temple. This is funny. Depending on how fast we go through this, maybe I might just open the whole box. These are comic images are one of those sets where you're just like, once you've gotten through the initial love of it, you're like, and let's move. Let's keep moving. This lady, right? Vendetta. Oh, that's all right. I remember thinking that this was like this character was the height of cool. I remember this being like one of the most valuable. I think like the number one was I think like at one point $30, silver embossed. And then it just went, the gimmick covers. 3 had a glow in the dark cover. 4 was a crossover with Savage Dragon. Dre saying, how much did a box like this I think I spent like 15 to $20 on this box, if I recall. And that was just me being like, all right, well, if I'm going to do this, I might as well just do what I can. I think the Shadow Bart is like maybe 2 per case or something like that. Like it's not an easy card to find. I think it's like a super short print. And if anybody wants to look that up to confirm, by all means, you're welcome to it. By anybody, I'm clearly talking about Dre. Yeah. So these are the same people. They made the Spider-Man trading cards that we've opened before. There was a lot of the X-Men and Wolverine cards that we opened in that collection. This is 2 dudes. So it's like, comic images, a little boring, but, so I guess it's an easy way to make money, especially during like the trading card boom of the early 90s, the junk wax era, we like to call it. Hey, Taffet is here. Hey, Taff, we're just looking at some mediocre Jim Valentino art on these comic images Shadowhawk cards. This is a cool card. I like this because these people are cool, and then Shadowhawk's being a pervert. So good for him. But yeah, a relatively, and it's one of the reasons I wanted to. Any news for Texas-based Jeff has cool vids? Yeah, I did mention that what's that? This looks like the number 1. Is this the number 1 card? Yeah. It's funny how predictable these sets have become, where I'm just like, oh, this is going to be the number 1, huh? Sure is. We got our Youngblood Blackjack. It's 90s. As I was saying, yeah, I'm going to... Jim Valentino is a very nice and very talented man. It is just funny. Like, it was funny watching him adjust to being like an image guy, because he was clearly like a Marvel studio guy, like he was a big Marvel studio guy. I know lots of people that were Marvel studio guys learned that way. Good friends of mine, Scott Goblish, we did a great episode. Oh, okay, look at that. A prison card is what we like to call these. So we got our first Prism, but it was just funny seeing people that had learned to work within that Marvel system and then try to like break out, but not being able to shake the style that they had sort of been built. And it's like they kind of seemed out of their element. And that this, I think, is a good example of that, which is why, like, when you look at, these 2 versions of Shadowhawk right here, one looks a lot more stylized, even if it's not better. I don't necessarily think Liefeld is a better artist than many people, but he definitely settled into a style. And yeah, Tap, you actually, if I recall, interviewed Jim Valentino. Oh, that's a cool card. All right. But that's like, this is the edgelord shit that you were getting in Image Comics in 1992. Kelly saying, I'd look up the odds on Shadowbart, but I'm working stuff for the Boeing strike, so you're distracted. Yeah, the Boeing strike. Yeah, power to the people. Yeah, Taff, I was going to say you had an interview with Jim Valentino, and I know that because when I was researching the episode, when I was researching the Taffeta Darling episode of Jeff Has Cool Friends, I came across that interview. He's bulletproof. I bet this card is called Bulletproof, right? Like let's have we checked that? Kevlar, so close. So Dre is asking, is Shadow Bart this set or 1994? You know what? We might not even be looking for Shadow Bart then. Yep. If I recall, that interview was from 2011, I want to say. There are 12 total graded cards from this entire set. So maybe Shadow Bart is from a second series, and I am just floundering here. That very well could be the case. And that's information that you would have to research. But Dre's saying that there are only 12 graded cards. Oh, okay. 1994 Skybox Arty Art A4 Jim Valentino Shadow. Okay. So there we go. So all we're looking for is these Prism cards, which means I'm not going to be opening the second collection here. Who knows? All right. Ooh, his tummy hurts. Ooh, Shadowhawk jumping. But that is one of the problem. Oh, that's actually a good look. That might be one of the best looking cards here. It is definitely one of those things. Ooh, Spawn. One of those things where comic images, because this stuff is drawn by 1117, and oftentimes when you blow up an image from a comic book, like, it doesn't always look good. Like, comics are meant to be in the comic format, and when you really push, when you really sort of zoom in on that image, it's not always great. Ooh, a red checklist because red is edgy. Dre saying there are more graded Shadow Barts than total cards from this set, and I think we understand why. Would this be good? Or our corners? Corners look all right, but they have enough white on the corners there that I would say maybe not. It wouldn't gem out. I don't think that card would gem. Do we know, Dre, what the graded Shadow Barts go for? So the title of this is Looking for Shadow Bart, and I got to tell you, man, barking up the wrong tree here, huh? Randall saying, yeah, the coloring is also sort of betraying that. Yeah, they were really getting into this was like right around where they started getting into the digital coloring, and boy, it took a minute. If you look at some comics from like 92 to 94 and you look at the coloring, it would be like, Paul Mounts would do the coloring and it would be insane. And then you'd look at like some digital colorists and you're like, oh, this looks like absolute garbage. So yeah, comic images, like I said, we've opened a lot of cards. We've seen a lot of cards from comic images. That Spider-Man set where they had like the prisms, like that was their thing. They're like, we'll do a prism. We'll do a prism. And who are these a-holes? Who the hell? The Others. Jim on his upcoming project, The Others. Why couldn't other animals have had less successful offshoots? Okay. Sure. You know what? That was a time when we just had to throw stuff against the wall to see if it stuck, I'm rescuing this woman or child, I can't tell, out of a burning building. See, this is a good look. Like, that looks good. Texture on the moon looks good. Lighting source would be interesting. I'm wondering where we're getting all the lighting coming from here, if it's nighttime and the moon is behind them. But you know what? It's okay. That's called style, folks. Oh, look at that. That's such weird, weirdly bad centering that it's like we jumped the fourth wall off this side here. That's really funny. Dre saying, yeah, not even seeing those on eBay. You didn't lie. Got you to look for Shadow Bart. I knew I would, Dre. I know Dre's curiosities. Yeah, but as I said, Randall, in the chat, we were texting back and forth about Shadowhawk and just how it was like this weird. It definitely was kind of one of those, like, one of these things is not like the other kind of vibes of the time because, again, Jim Valentino, really nice guy, but like you can see that he's like trying for the edge. That he's like, and he's going overboard on that edge because he's trying to keep up with your Todds, your Jims, your Robs, um, while doing his own thing in his own right. And it's so very, I don't know. And also, these came out in 1992. It's super early for a trading card set, which is why. So this card, it's not that it was badly edged. It's just that because this is the same card again. It's just that that's what the pattern was. Ooh, it's Shadowhawk. Spawn meets Shadowhawk, or as Kelly said, a wild spawn appears. This just says guest star. Yeah, by 1992, there were 3 Marvel Universe sets by Impel or Skybox that were really well done. And, that's like I'm saying, like Jim Valentino has cards in the Marvel Series 3 set in 1992, right? Like Dre, you just opened some on I Must Drake You on Monday. Everybody check that out. He does it live at 6:30 Pacific. And the last one was Marvel Series 3, where if you look at a lot of the Guardians of the Galaxy cards, like your Starhawks and Vance Astros and stuff, those are drawn by Jim Valentino. So then to come up with an already unique card set, all they had to do was just poach his comic art. And it's why the cover looks and the pinups look so much better, because that artwork is shrunk down. But when you look at like a panel being blown up, it looks significantly worse. And that's one of the big problems with comic images. If it's a splash page or a cover or a pinup, it's going to look good. And if it is right, look at this. That is a pinup, I'm thinking. Image. So the more Jim, Eric Larson, Todd McFarlane, talked about what Rob was doing in the movie he was making, the more we got to thinking this was probably the right thing to do at the right time. But so as soon as you go from pinup to panel, it's just so much worse. But yeah, so like if you look at like the Marvel stuff by Impel or even DC Cosmic cards at the time, again by Impel, like they were willing to pay to have original artwork made, which I think was a benefit to everyone, because if you're the artist, swear to God, thought that was Hitler for a second. Thought that was Hitler. Thought it was 1992 Hitler, and you can't tell me you don't if you wink a little bit. Just squint just a little. Right? That last one said, what, Kevlar, right? This one says costume. This is an example of what happens when you blow up a comic panel into 3x4, right? Like it just looks weird. The lines are choppy. Because this is made to look much, much smaller. Like when you pull away and you look at a card like this, it looks much better. But then when you get really, really close, like when you have the card in your hand, it does not look good. Like we even see like an inking error in here and stuff like that, like an ink blot. Like that does not look good. That looks good though. Hello, yes, I'm on the phone. So stupid. Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, yes, taking it out of frame and making it smaller is there. So this is the last pack I have out of our collection here, and we can, if you want, I can just open the rest. I might as well just open the rest at this point in time. Let's just open them all and make fun of them. Ooh, it's a guy. Okay, so like, what are these bullets deflecting off of him? In the shadows. If he's going to scare criminals, he had to be a shadow. He's there, blah, 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 blah. So what is this? Like, what is that? Are those bullets deflecting? Because if they're shinies, it doesn't make sense. Why would they even shine like that? Unless there's a flashlight on him. But if there was a flashlight on him, he wouldn't have that. Like, this doesn't make sense. This picture does not make sense. Ooh, yeah, this was somebody, I forget who asked if that was Weird Al, and yeah, I could see it. And they're just like, ooh, look at her. She's in her business suit. with a bra on, which I'm like, yeah, I'm sure that's something I was super into when I was 11. Right? These came out when I was 11. So yeah, you know what? Screw it. Let's open the whole box. Let's open the whole box. We'll get some prisms out of here, and I'm sure they'll be in great shape. We'll just go through and we'll take a look at this, and we will talk about how badly an idea it is. How bad of an idea it is to blow up comic panels to make them pages, right? That one's cool. I like that. But yeah, Comic Images, famously bad collation as well. And by the way, I like opening cards from Comic Images. Like, I don't hate it, but it is funny when you look at it and you're like, well, these are clearly the bottom of the barrel. Dre saying, if I find 13 cards to grade for a mere $150 to $200, I can have the voting rights to graded Shadowhawk cards. Yeah, I could have the majority of graded Shadowhawk cards. Well, that's a good one to put in here. So we certainly didn't get 0 in our 0 to 3. For a second, I thought the corner was bent. But that's just how prismatic foils be. Look at that. Graded foil of love. Stupid card. I don't think it, I mean, I thought it was at first, but I think it's actually an optical illusion from the blue coming off of the black here. Because on the back side, it didn't look bent at all. So, trick to the eyes. And then this. Because people are going to, by the way, Jeff has cool friends, drop this week. But if you head on over to patreon.com/JeffMay and you want, say you want this card, say you want to own this card, I will send it to you next month. I will be like, hey, do you want a card of art that doesn't make any sense from a lighting perspective? I got you. I will send these to you. I will send cards. I send cards out every month. And if you don't believe me, boy, I've got just. I could show you to my left and to my right all the envelopes that I have been filling, because I've been putting all of the August packages together to mail out. I'll be mailing those out later this week. Looking good. I'll be doing that. So sign up for that. These will go out in the September packages, so they'll be going out in mid-October, or maybe even earlier. I might have to get started on that early because I'm going to be traveling to Texas to go to Big Texas Comic Con. Yeah, I'll be in San Antone, and I'll be other places too. But I'm very excited to do that. If you see me, if you're at Big Texas Comic Con, wouldn't that be funny if this was a prismatic? Revenge. Oh, yeah. Tajana. Fuck. If you see me there, I have a feeling people are going to request this card a lot. It's just a lot of Shadowhawk. I love, like, imagine seeing that in the trench coat, just being like, well, that's a psychopath. Again, very funny. That's a very funny card. Murder. Man, it's so, like, nihilistically upsetting, this stuff. It is definitely, so, like, this is kind of one of those things where we talk about, like, edgelord shit, like, when you're just like, God, calm down. Like, this is like, it's this. It's that, like, breaking backs and big old titties. And it's like, I get it. Like, I know that was the time and everything like that, but looking back on it, it is what the kids referred to as cringe. Like, kids seeing it would look like this, reading the backs of some of these cards. Still, sick friggin' checklist. Although also, no place to use my pen to mark off what cards I have and what cards I need. So, fail. But yeah, again, I know a lot of people, and it's like the thing. Jim Valentino, nice guy, pleasant, hard worker, and he's found a great spot. But just at the time, it's just that's. I have a feeling this is going to be a very highly requested card from the people watching. Um, and by the end of this, we're probably going to have like 6 sets of this. So I wonder, I don't know, like, where's that checklist? Oh. I'm looking at this not through my camera, but in real life. Looks good. Looks like that is either a prism thing, or it looks like we have a slight dent in that corner. I love a prismatic foil. Dre saying breaking backs and big old titties sounds like a bad comic title or a bad comic premise. Okay, there we go. Shadowhawk. Breaking backs. So you know what else we got to find? There they are. Them big old titties. Congratulations. This pack has it all. A prism, backbreaking, spawn, a lady wearing just a sport coat over her bra, like that episode of Seinfeld. How many do we have left here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I was realizing, I was like, well, what if I just look at this pack. Let's take a look at what the hell happened in here. We got a long pack. I was going to say, if I had enough, I was like, you know what if I just sent everybody a pack next month? But that's okay. We'll have other stuff to put in the packages next month. Blackjack. Pretty upsetting that this is just a normal. This is actually not a bad looking card because it's the cover. And again, issue 1 was just this, but in like silver foil. Ooh. Yeah, we can do some cursing. Yeah, T from Cleveland says that phrase could also be an incognito Google search. Hell yeah, man. Look at that. I remember because I had all of these. Like I bought these comics when they came out. That was it. That was all. Look at him. He's breaking that guy's back. It'd be so funny if he just fell. Just look at so many back breaks here. What does this say, by the way? Hold on. Let me find it here. He's dark, mysterious, gritty, realistic. Feared and despised by the good guys and the bad guys, Jim Valentino's new Nocturnal Avenger, Shadowhawk, makes his debut in this graphic, hard-hitting, action-packed 90-card series. As a bonus, we get some Prism cards. So 90 cards in this box, 420 cards. Right? 42 packs, 10 cards per pack, 420. So there is an absolute Shadowhawk set or two in here. So this is 1992. Yeah, Randall, you make a good point too. That like it is surprising that it didn't, but they probably read it and were like, "This is too dark." Nightman's a bit more chill to be a syndicated television show. And I'm sure there was like, because remember the Image guys were all over it, getting their syndicated cartoons and their USA Network, you know, action cartoon hour, so you can watch Savage Dragon followed by Street Fighter the cartoon. I do think a lot of people are going to be like, I would like the Spawn card, please, which is very funny. Not Hitler. Yeah, this definitely has called it. I think my yearbook cover had that. This definitely is. This might be the most 1992 card set that we'll be seeing. Like if you look at Marvel Series 3, relatively timeless. Kelly, not Hitler, but wasn't it though? Wasn't it? So that Youngblood #2 cover. What I'm hoping now is we get to break out of the 0 to 3 Prism cards and we get a fourth. Oh, this is... See, now this is the guy that gets shot in the head, right? But the way that's colored, it looks like he's already been shot in the head. Also, what's going on with these nerds? Are these the guys that are about to do this? No. Turns out it doesn't make sense or matter. Dre said, I wish I had the time and energy to make and collate hate packs for an edited tier. Yeah, send them to people that suck. Here. And again, Jim Valentino's card art on, like, say, Marvel Series 3 is a much higher quality because it's not a blown-up comic book panel. But because it's like, look, 90 cards, and there was maybe 4 issues. 3, maybe, no, I don't even know if there was 4 issues. It might only been 3 issues max by the time these books came out. So, like, by the time these cards came out, excuse me. So, like, they're literally going to be using almost every panel and every pinup and every cover and every concept art. So you can get such a diverse group of images across this set. I know it's a money-making idea, but this set was like a bad idea. It was a bad idea in retrospective. Like looking back, yeah, like He-Man cards just using all the animation cells from that one episode. Which is weird. That was Tops. That was exceedingly lazy, but they were just like, kids are going to buy it. Look, I'm not going to say that this isn't a good look, that if I were to go to a lady's place and this was the look that I was seeing, I would be very happy. It just doesn't seem very businessy. Unless it's the business on, like, unless you're getting the business. Now, in the comments, they're talking about making hate packs with Pokemon cards as well. So just Shadowhawk and Pokemon. Normally, when I'm done, after I mail out all the cards, after I mail all these cards out, right, I try not to have a big collection of these in the house, so I'll just donate them to, like, Blast from the Past on beautiful Magnolia in Burbank, California. So I don't even know if they'd want these. If I'm like, hey, you guys want these cards? And they'd be like, no, that's okay. And I'd be like, yeah, you're right. But it does have a gun that looks like a cartoon garbage can with a line off of it. This looks like porn. Look at that. He shines it. I wonder what it's like to have to shine that armor all the time. Like, he's probably going to oil it and, like, wax it down and stuff. That should be like an issue where it shows him, like, just, like, buffing his armor so that it reflects light while he's standing almost entirely in shadows. because Jim, I think he inked all his stuff as well. I wonder if he colored it. He seems like a guy that would have done a lot of his own stuff. Um, but yeah, like I wonder how fun that would have been. Shadowhawk. Stupid. That one's kind of interesting. Urban Storm. Image Comics will be publishing a book called Operation Urban Storm, which was the brainchild of Rob Liefeld. The book deals with the LA riots that ensued following the Rodney King verdict. Note, proceeds from the book will go to the Rebuild LA Foundation. I don't think this ever happened, but it's funny that it made it into the card set. It's just some people arguing. We need a card 68. We need a card 68. What do we do? Well, I have this panel of these people in a newsroom talking. Print it up. Does everybody have a fully fleshed out nose? Absolutely not. Perfect. Perfect for our cards. This is funny. I would like to think of this person as just minding their own business. So it's just funny, right? Because it's like you have your poses, which are like Shadowhawk is absolutely rinsing a dude. Shadowhawk jumping to do some damage, or Shadowhawk existing, right? Or what, like random obscure character. So here's Shadowhawk about to kick you in the face. Shadowhawk about to punch you in the face. Shadowhawk leaping down to scratch you in the face. Card by a more prominent artist. Douchey side character, right? Count this as douchey side character. So let's see. We have has punched, is about to punch, other artists, and then goofy side characters, and one card that looks really cool. So I wonder how much of that would go away from that vibe, right? Or like guest stars, I guess. Goofy side character. Goofy side characters, totally not Hitler. It's Reeves, who is not Hitler. Kicking a guy. Or about to. Goofy side character, or like, whatever. Goofy side characters. Goofy side character. About to kick your ass. Already kicking ass. This is a mix of kicking ass or not. This is surprisingly getting away from an ass kicking and goofy side character. Randall's saying an issue where he's buffing his armor in front of one of his crippled victims in a hospital, like the Frank Miller issue where Daredevil plays Russian roulette in front of a hospitalized bullseye. Yeah, that's really funny. I mean, because it really is like, you look at it and it's like him looking, him about to kick your ass, him looking. Him already kicking ass. Goofy side character by a better artist. Or more prominent. Him just posing while kicking ass. Him kicking ass. Random side character. So it's like, that's why I just think this is a really, really funny. Zach saying, hey, can't stick around. Understand Zach is traveling. He's on our hemisphere, which is always nice. Now, again, if you guys want any of these beautifully fun cards, these definitely seem like the kind of cards I would write some shit on. Head on over to patreon.com/Jeff May. And that's JEFFMAY. Sign up for any of the rookie card tiers, and you can bet your sweet patootie you'll be getting some of these next month. I'm sure most people are going to want either this or him breaking backs or the weird lady with the bra showing. Vendetta. But if you'll excuse me, I got to finish up building the August packets. I got to mail those things out. Hopefully they'll get out very soon. You guys are all great. I treasure, and probably people might be wanting 1992 Hitler as well. So hey, patreon.com/Jeff May for these. Again, all cards I put together. If I can find like an example. Here's an example of somebody's packets that they'll have coming. So this, I believe I have the set this month has on 18 cards. So normally I do about 16. Sometimes I go more, sometimes I go less. So this is 18 cards. And if you look, they are all cased. They're in, you'll see they're in penny sleeves and then put into cases, then taped together, then put in an envelope. Um, and I believe everybody is getting, yeah, I believe because I threw them together. Everyone's getting a numbered card in their packets this month. So so that's really fun. We simply love to see that. Next month we'll have little bonuses in there as well, which are very exciting. But for now, I will see you all later. You're all lovely. Also, they all have. I'll add this too. That's and I can't get this out, but I also do personal correspondence in everyone. So not only are you getting cards, but you get me writing on various postcards and things like that. So I have like marble postcards, and I write little messages to people. Sometimes it's questions. Sometimes it's just hey, thank you. I really appreciate you. Sometimes it's a little picture that I drew. Who knows? But I try to make them interesting, and it's definitely worth the value. I think the floor on the purchase, it's like $35. Buys you in on that. You're definitely getting your money's worth in that regard. But you guys are great. Thank you all so very much for joining me. I really, really appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope you have a gosh darn tastic day. I will see you later, and all right, see you next time. Oh, Friday there will be a mailbag. I will be doing a mailbag on Friday. I've got lots of mail to share, so yeah. Okay, love you, bye.